So we begin here, our lead this hour coming from Sunday Night Football. You're probably saying, well, why Sunday Night Football? Right? Why Sunday Night Football? Well, it was a made-for-TV NFC East slobber knocker. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles. The last unbeaten team, coming in 5-0, playing host to Jerry Jones, 4-1 Cowboys. Were you watching? Were you tuned in to watch the broadcast there, the must-see TV? Maybe not. Well, Jalen Hurts had a pair of touchdown passes. Miles Sanders added a score, and the Philadelphia football team smashing the Dallas football team 26-17. The final, the Eagles led 20-0, never trailed. It was briefly a close game early in the fourth quarter. But in the end, the Birds improved to 6-0 on the season. The Cowboys dropped to 4-2 on the year. The better story in the losing locker room, and that is where we will begin the conversation. So let us discuss the question, does this loss end the Cooper Rush experience? That's the question, and the answer, a resounding primal scream. Yes! Yes, it's over! Turn out the lights, the party's over. It is. I've got Contaminated, Tow Truck, and Happy Dance. So, Cooper Rush has sprung an oil leak. It actually happened earlier than this game. He didn't play very well against the Rams, but nobody noticed because Dallas was in the afterglow of winning. But Cooper Rush went out there, and what did he do? We all saw it. It was public defecation. He pooped his pants. Cooper Rush pooped his pants. Rush was thirsty. He tried to drink out of a fire hose. It did not work out so well. It did not. I mean, he looked like he had won a contest to be there. He looked like he'd won some kind of contest to be there. And the Cowboys now put out to pasture with Cooper Rush. Cooper, in the first half of this game, 5 of 16, 31% completion rate, 36 yards, averaged 2.2 yards per attempt. If you had a running back that averaged 2.2 yards per attempt, you'd say, oh, man, we got a bad running back. A quarterback averaging that, he did. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the first half of this game. That works out to a passer rating that we rarely see in professional football, a passer rating of 1. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 1, which is about as low as you can go. Now, we always like to point out when somebody sucks at their job as a quarterback that if you drop back every single time, snap the football, throw the pigskin into the ground, on every play, your passer rating would be 39.6. A good passer rating is over 100, a great passer rating higher than that. But the MALLER diagnosis here, after looking over the medical charts, Cooper Rush contaminated with an extreme case of the Sunday scaries, the Sunday night scaries there, intimidated, started freaking out, and he had the body language of a guy that was a little panicked. And there's a reason they told the story during the broadcast that his wife wanted to come to the game, and in fact she did. His lady friend there came to the game, and he advised her not to because the flights were expensive. Because Cooper Rush knows the glass slipper has cracked now, and it's back to clipboard and hat duty, and he had that look, right? And that clears the runway now for Dak Prescott to come back. The old stat bandito himself. Of course, we promise you within a couple of weeks people will be clamoring for Cooper Rush to come back, saying that Dak is not doing the job. But for now, Dak Prescott has nothing to worry about there as Cooper Rush went out and stunk up the joint against the Birds. And but overall, he did his job. Dallas had no chance. They had no pulse. They were facing their last supper after the opener against Tampa Bay, and they were on life support, all that, and now the Cowboys 4-2. They're right in the thick of the NFC playoff picture after 6 weeks. Mission accomplished, even though a lot of that was Micah Parsons and the defense, but the quarterback gets to ride the coattails of that defense. Now, part 2 of this rant and raving here, what went wrong for the Cowboys in general on this night? We know Cooper Rush was not good, but it was all in the first half, pretty much everything. In fact, at halftime, the Cowboys did not need some refreshing orange slices. They did not need some kind of athletic drink. They needed a tow truck because the engine had died there in the first half. Dallas got smacked in the face. They were ready for work unless they weren't. That's not how you're supposed to begin a game. They're guilty of truancy. Now, it is true. Philly did punt the first time they had possession of the ball. But then after that, they went warp speed. The Birds scored on their next 4 possessions. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 20-0. Making the game a mere formality, an uphill battle the rest of the way. Because broadcasters love to talk about, you can't tune out. You never know who's going to come back and win the game, blah, blah, blah. But historically, if you look at the comps, teams can come back and get into a game, but actually win a game, very rarely. How many teams have blown 20-0 leads in the NFL? When that happens, you'll remember. Right. And the Eagles did not have gaudy offensive numbers, 22 first downs against the Dallas defense, less than 270 yards of offense. But those numbers are misleading. If you look at the box score and you didn't watch the game, Philly was playing on a short field most of the game. You don't put up a lot of yards when you get the ball inside opponent territory. They began 3 drives inside the Dallas side of the field there. Cooper Rush interceptions and a turnover on downs. Cooper Rush played well, actually, in the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, but he also tossed a late interception that he was getting hit, and he tossed it up and got picked off. Now, all right, last word here. So is there any stopping the Philadelphia Eagles? As we turn the page to Philadelphia, they are 6-0. And all those geriatric Miami Dolphins from the early 1970s waiting to have the bubbly, those that are still with us, so they can celebrate the demise of the last perfect team in the NFL. And they have to wait another couple of weeks here. So is there any stopping the Eagles? Right now the answer is obviously no. You don't need me to tell you that. But regardless of that, we got a lot of real estate, a lot of land to go out and traverse the rest of the regular season. You wonder if the Eagles are peaking too soon. Are they peaking too soon? The Eagles. Is this as well as they can play? 6-0. How do you play better than that? And do they have a higher gear down the line? And is this going to become an all-time great team? I don't get that vibe. Do you get that vibe? I don't get that vibe that this Eagle team's an all-time great team, but they are certainly click-a-licking right now, and they will not be losing in Week 7. I will guarantee the Eagles will not lose in Week 7 because they don't play in Week 7. They have a week off. So now, I say that, and we do point out on this show that you can lose in a bye if your star quarterback or your star receiver, defensive player, either A, gets arrested for something, or B, ends up injured in some kind of accident, whether it be a casual accident, a car accident, whatever it might be. So there are ways you can lose on a bye week, but it seems highly improbable that anything will go sideways for the Eagles at this point. But looking ahead, and I'm looking at the radar here, and a lot of people doing the happy dance in Philadelphia, in the Delaware Valley, because the calm waters and clear skies are ahead. If you look at the long-range forecast up on the horizon, after the bye week, you've got the Steelers in Philly at the Texans, the Commandos at the Colts, Packers, who apparently suck. They lost to the Jets at home. That's a sign you suck. And the Tennessee Titans. So, Philadelphia will be favored in all of those games. Every one of those games, the Eagles will be favored. And if they live up to those expectations, they will be 12-0 to start the year. 12-0 will be the record. The next stumbling block. Now, it is possible the Eagles can go out and lose to anybody, but the next stumbling block where you'd say, okay, that's a game they could certainly lose. The way the Giants are playing right now, Week 14, December 11th, you circle that game, and at the Cowboys in Week 16, that's Christmas Eve. And this will not be a battle-tested Eagle team. They do not play the toughest of schedules here, Philadelphia. And there's that old Franklin D. Roosevelt quote that the smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. And there's a lot of smooth water ahead for the Philadelphia Eagles. Not that they're going to say no to that. You eat the cupcakes. Nobody says no to a cupcake. Who says no to a cupcake? Everyone loves a cupcake. You eat a cupcake. Who would say no to a cupcake?